Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. So Mike Pompeo has accused Iran of basically becoming a base for al-Qaeda. Take a look at this video here.
In a speech at Washington's National Press Club, he claimed an old enemy had found support from another long-time U.S. adversary.
Al-Qaeda has a new home base. It is the Islamic Republic of Iran. As a result, bin Laden's wicked creation is poised to gain strength and capabilities. We ignore this Iran-Al-Qaeda nexus at our own peril. We need to acknowledge it. We must confront it. Indeed, we must defeat it.
President Donald Trump pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018, finally fulfilling an election promise. His administration then pursued it.
Okay. Wow. Well, what an attempt on his last final couple of days, because I believe as of today he's resigned now. So he spent his last few moments in public office trying to warmonger Iran, trying to get them into a war, trying to accuse them. And this is really laughable, actually, for he's trying to accuse Shiite Islam majority Iran of basing Sunni Salafist Wahhabi Muslims in like housing them as a base. These two are arch enemies. There's no way that Iran is doing that, and there's no way that al-Qaeda would accept it. I mean, this is the type of stuff that obviously he's just trying to bait the United States into a war. Does he really think we're going to fall for it a second time? That they're harboring Osama bin Laden is essentially what he's saying. That, oh no, the new Osama bin Laden is now in Iran. And so what do we need to do? Obviously, we need to invade. Obviously, we should invade Iran. That's what Mike Pompeo is saying on his way out. I have to say the entire nation of Iran must be breathing at least somewhat of a sigh of relief that Trump is out of office and that Joe Biden is coming in, and that hopefully Joe Biden will go back into the nuclear agreement with Iran. I absolutely hope that, but I think that right now the rhetoric is that he's going to attempt, and he's going to, and I actually think Joe Biden is a little scarier for Iran in some ways because, you know, at least with Trump didn't want to get into any new wars, and he's the only president so far in modern history that hasn't marched us into a new engagement. Did he end the wars like he said he would? No, he did scale them back a bit, but nothing really ended. But he at least the guy didn't get us into anything new. Joe Biden, on the other hand, he would absolutely be capable of getting us into another engagement. But I don't think it'll be Joe Biden. I think it'll be Kamala Harris. And I've been saying, I mean, look, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I could end up being all wrong. But we'll just say this administration. I just think Joe Biden's probably going to have to step aside. Kamala Harris is going to come in. And then she's going to need to show strength. This is how it will always be. She'll have to show strength because she's the first woman president, and she'll feel and so the media will pressure her into this, thinking that somehow that needs to be, proven in some way. Strength needs to be proven. We all knew Hillary Clinton was a warmonger. Nobody needed to prove that to us. And so she might go down that road and say, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll take out, we'll go into more escalations with Iran. And then she'll say, but it wasn't my fault. They kept escalating. We tried to get back in the nuclear deal. We really tried. We tried to reverse what Donald Trump did. We did everything we could, but they just couldn't come to an agreement. We couldn't get an agreement that was good. We wanted to strengthen it. We wanted to make it better rather than just getting back into the one that was existing, because that's what Iran's demanding. They're saying, we don't want any caveats. We don't want any additions. We just want you to get back into it. That's it. You get back into it, and we'll back off on our enrichment of uranium. But that's what the deal is. You don't get to make some new goalposts. You don't get to move that and come up with new things. It's got to be the same one or it's nothing. And because they're saying we're not the ones who broke the deal. We're not the ones who got out of that deal. So you need to get back into it as it was or nothing. So my guess is what's going to happen is the Biden administration is not going to get into it as is. They're going to say, well, no, yeah, but no, we need these extra things. And the Iranian government is going to say, I don't think so. We're holding firm. You're not going to make a fool out of us. And it's going to go back and forth like that. And then Joe Biden's not going to be in office and Kamala Harris is going to take over. Or maybe it will still be Joe. But the people around him, the warmongers that he's instilled in his cabinet and that are still at the Pentagon, they're going to come at him and they're going to say, hey, we really want this country disabled. And so what are we going to do? And I don't know what it is they're going to do. I can't imagine an actual boots on the ground war with Iran. I think that our government is, and this is scary, I think our government is beyond that, because I think our government has been making more and more contracts, military contracts with big tech. And those same big tech companies that are censoring conservatives, big tech companies are getting the war contracts. And I think we could be seeing the new iteration of war, which would be cyber warfare. More, we already saw the rise of drone warfare. So I think that might even escalate into another type of cyber warfare with, more hacking and things like that and taking out electrical grids and whatnot. And who knows? I can't even dream up all the things that the military can. So on one hand, I think that Iran must be breathing a sigh of relief that Trump is on his way out, and that warmongers like Mike Pompeo and John Bolton and all these people that were surrounding Trump that kept trying to mean mug Iran and being like, we know you're doing some bad things. We know you're up to no good. It was all your fault. Now you guys are, you got an al-Qaeda base in your country, which is totally laughable. If you understand Islam at all, it's completely laughable to think that Sunni Islam is the arch enemy of these really fundamentalist, Salafist Muslims. To them, Shia Islam is, Shia Muslims are the worst of the worst of the worst. Because in their mind, it's one thing if you're a different religion altogether. You're a Christian or a Jew. In their mind, you just don't know any better and you could be converted. But if you are a Shia Muslim, you have perverted Islam, and therefore your fate is, a fiery death. And that's what they believe. So to think that this al-Qaeda cell would be operating inside of Iran is not believable, except for ignorant Americans who don't understand. And they just say, terrorists, brown people, Muslims, terrorists, let's go get them. And that person would be triggered into, we have to stop them. We have to. So glad Mike Pompeo is done and he's out of office. Glad he's not going to be able to use those. Did he think we were going to fall for that narrative again? I don't know. I do know that Iran, they're also giving out warnings. They've been giving out warnings for the last couple of weeks saying that they believe that there is going to be a false flag attack on the United States and that Iran will be blamed for that false flag attack. So pay attention to that. That's a possibility. We do know that there's a lot of actors out there that do not want the Biden administration. They do not want to get back into that Iran nuclear deal. They want to do everything they can to not have that happen. And they don't like they liked that Trump was like, get out of there and let's be strong. And they don't like hearing Biden saying, I'm going to try to get back in that. And so there's a lot of rumors out there in the Middle East that there will be an attack on the United States that is blamed on Iran, that they're framed for the crime, and that will bring the American people to a point where we say we want to go to war. And I think that's very possible because I think right now, as we're seeing in this country, we're all very much on edge. And even though logically war would be the worst thing ever, we're all very on edge. And so we very well might all agree to some sort of warfare. Again, I don't think it would be like boots on the ground sort of thing, but definitely an attack on an enemy that we could all come together and rally around and be like, we're Americans, we're united in this because we just got attacked, and, we need to rally around together, and we need to drop all of our differences. And this is what we do together really well, is we invade other countries and take out leaders we don't like and make other people's lives miserable. We're good at this. Let's do it. So I think we have that to maybe look forward to. Anyway, if you have any questions or comments, you can email me, kim@kimiverson.com. I love hearing from you. We are going to move on with the show coming up next. The Bull Moose Party, believe it or not, I have heard the Bull Moose Party being mentioned about 3 times in the last few days. We're going to talk more about that and why that might be an exciting development. That is coming up next.